Welcome to the Series Sweep podcast where I'm breaking down each and every single series for the Dodgers for the 2020 season. You can find me on YouTube on the Series Sweep. You can find me, Eric Eulo, on Twitter. That is at EEULAU. Quick reminder to do this in about 5 minutes. Everyone's busy, I get it. But if you hadn't heard by now, the Dodgers are the 2020 champions. They did it. They beat the Rays in 6 games. It was absolutely incredible. Everything we all could have hoped for. How did they get there? So last week talked games after games 1 and 2. It was a 1-1 series. The Dodgers win game 3 thanks to this guy. Throws an absolute gem, unhittable. You could see why the Rays strike out way too much in the playoffs. He was absolutely dominant. Blisters were not an issue. They rode him to a Game 3 victory. Game 4 was the nightmare game. One of the weirdest, strangest endings you will ever see to a World Series game. You can watch the play now as a Dodgers fan because they won the series. But had they lost that series, giving up 2 runs on one play for a walk-off for the Rays, if you haven't seen the play yet, please do. It was off Kenley Jansen. I don't know if it was entirely Kenley Jansen's fault, although he should have covered home. I'm not going to recap the whole play. We don't need to sit here and watch it. But thank God they won the series, or else that play would haunt the Dodgers for forever and ever. Game 5. Real quick. This guy in Game 4 in that 7-8 loss gave up a 3-run home run and a solo shot. I can't believe Dave Roberts still had him in the game. I guess I get to do this rant one more time about Pedro Baez. He sucks. He shouldn't be in the playoffs. I hope they don't re-sign him this offseason. Sorry, buddy. Glad you got a ring on your way out. Goodbye. See you later. Thank you for your service. Game 5, Clayton Kershaw puts together his second plus performance of the World Series. I wouldn't say it was perfect. I wouldn't say it was an A, but he got the job done. He only gave up 2 earned. The Dodgers scored early to support him. You saw that stat with Kershaw with more than 4 runs of support, what his record is, and you know why. Because that pressure he puts on himself. Game 5 was another thing that I was wrong about that reminded me, and that was Blake Trinan, who came in and pitched great in that series. I mean, the other things I was wrong about in this series, before we watch this Julio Urias closing out the Dodgers' first World Series since 1988, we can say the year now because they finally did it. I was wrong about Kevin Cash being a better manager than Dave Roberts, and I think that was evident when Cash but pulled Blake Snell when he was dealing. I get it, that's part of your system, but like Dave Roberts did, you got to kind of change up your game plan as the conditions change, and I don't think Kevin Cash did that. I did think he did a really good job of executing some of the smaller things in this series, but I think Dave Roberts, he pushed all the right buttons in that Game 6, the bullpenning that game to perfection, something that I think 2 years ago Dave Roberts would have never done. I would love to one of these days go back and look at 2017 World Series Dave Roberts versus 2020 because I think they're 2 completely different managers. And the third thing I was completely wrong about was Justin Turner looking old and over the hill. He looked great in this series. He had home runs in the first in multiple games. He kind of led them. We'll get to the positive COVID test that did kind of sour the celebration and put a bit of a cloud over the Dodgers. I'll get to that in a second. But real quick, let's just watch this guy, finally reaching his potential again. He closed out Game 7 in the NLCS, Julio Urias. And this World Series was important for a lot of players. It was important for Julio Urias, too. I think there were a lot of questions about where he was in this World Series. But to have it on Dave Roberts' resume, to get the monkey off Clayton Kershaw's back, my favorite Dodger of all time, the only jersey I own is Clayton Kershaw. And you could just tell, excuse me about the mouse, don't worry about the play track. You could tell how much it meant to Clayton Kershaw and these guys and Justin Turner. And Julio just closing it out. He had him off balance. He was attacking him. He looked so good in that Game 7 against the Braves, and it carried right over. You could tell his confidence was there. It was where it needed to be. He pitched great in this playoffs. You could argue he was our second best, maybe even our best pitcher in this playoffs all around. And there it is. Just incredible, the emotion. Austin Barnes slipping the ball in his back pocket because he knows it's going to be a good memento, and everyone jumping up and down. Just a great feeling. What it means for this team, what it means for this franchise, what it means for the city, especially in a year like 2020, you cannot overstate. And for Clayton Kershaw, incredible. And I think all the facts about his playoffs, it was deserved, his reputation as a playoff choke artist. But now all of that is put to bed. He finally got his ring. Dave Roberts not being able to manage a playoff bullpen, we can put that all to bed. They got it. They did it. I don't think Kike, I don't think Jock will most likely be on this team, but Jock Peterson's another guy who I've harped on a lot who performed really well. So can't say enough about this team. Being able to watch this game with my family and my dad, who I've obviously watched a lot of, grew up going to Dodger games with, was pretty special. And I think that's an experience a lot of people had. Just looking on social media is beautiful to see. So real quick on the Justin Turner thing, testing positive, getting pulled out of the field, then going back on despite MLB security. You can see him there in that photo, no mask, no nothing, despite a positive test. Not a great look, probably not the smartest thing, but it's really easy for me to sit here in this condo in Hawaii and talk about what I would have done if I had a positive test when the team was celebrating. At the end of the day, all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into this, and I'm not justifying it, and I think everyone kind of understands where he's coming from. You want to celebrate with your teammates that you all worked so hard for this for. So don't like it. Not a great look. Wish he wouldn't have done it. I understand why, and I think it's hard for us to sit here and Monday morning quarterback it when we've never gone through what he's gone through. At the end of the day, you had a positive test. You probably shouldn't have been out there. But you know what? You won the World Series. The season's over. If Manfred gives all the players immunity this time around, it'd be a good thing. So just want to say thank you for watching this podcast the whole year. The series sweep. This is not going away. Once a week during the offseason, I'll be doing offseason updates. It will actually be 5 minutes. It'll be quick. Free agency, trades, what the Dodgers need, what they're looking at, payroll, contracts, all that fun stuff. So thank you so much for watching. I can't believe the Dodgers finally won. It's unreal. I didn't even mention Corey Seager, I'm sorry, who was the World Series MVP, and all the guys that contributed top to bottom. Just incredible. Mookie Betts winning that game single-handedly for them, and that Game 6 where they clinched the World Series, getting us over the hump. There's not a player in the game that can do everything that guy can do besides Mike Trout, and Mike Trout's team is completely irrelevant because the franchise is an absolute disaster. But this isn't about the Angels. This is about the Dodgers, your 2020 World Series champions. Thank you, as always, for watching, and we'll see you on the other side.